Okay, we're back with the tractor. So excited. This is going to be a very valuable tool on the homestead.
So we've been trying to deal with a little bit of a problem, which is a friendly goat problem. We love that the goats are attached to us, and we love that they're friendly and they're sweet and we can rub them and pet them, but sometimes it's a little tiring having goat poop on our porch. And so our first solution was to build the fences and, like around our porch and kind of keep them out, which has worked, but they're still kind of all up in our business a lot. And there are just times when we need to keep some goats apart from other goats or lock up some for different reasons. And there are times when we are doing something else, like slaughtering a chicken, and the goats are all just participating. And so it's nice to be able to put them out to pasture for a little bit during the day. It may not be all the time. So in that vein, we bought these pigtail posts and electro wire, which just wraps through the top, and then I bought clips so there's a second line. I think we need a third line. Right now, as it stands, I don't think 2 lines is going to keep them in. We already tried to connect it and they ran right through it. We lowered it a little, did some weed eating to get the grass out of the way so we can lower it a little. We'll see if we can keep them in today. If not, I have to wait until I can get a third line in there. They also make netting that is a full gridded net, and oftentimes they say that's what you need for goats because they'll get out of anything else. We'll see. I'm just going to give it a shot, and at the very least this will work for cows. So when we get cows, we'll be able to do it, and they really only need the top line because they tend to not want to get out, but we'll just see. We'll just have to try it with goats. Leading the goats in is a problem. They don't want to come. We already put them in earlier, and they tried to go under the fence and got shocked, so I don't think they want to come back. Emma's giving them hay, but they're not following her. They just kind of stop and wait. Come on, Daisy.
Today we're going to see what this new tractor can do. We are probably going to end up renting a backhoe to dig out all this dirt, but I have heard and I've seen a few videos where you can take the back blade on a smaller tractor and move a lot of dirt. So we're going to do whatever we can today to move as much dirt as we can from this top of this hill down to this lower spot. We need to raise this up a little bit, and we need to add dirt to the other side of the road. So we'll see how far we get today. I don't have high hopes that the tractor will do the whole job, but it could happen. Let's see how it works.
Back in the garden. We used the tractor to make a lot more rows, and we made them really long. So see, Emma's back here digging. I'm kind of standing in. What we're going to make is a pathway up the middle of these really long rows so that we can kind of have 2 sides and be able to get to the center is easier and stuff. We've already planted a lot of things. We planted some squash, zucchini, all of our cucumbers, green beans, along with the lettuces and everything we had planted. We had some of that coming up. little disappointing because it's still really cold here, and it's June. It is actually, we're into the second week of June, and it's really cold today. So the farmers market started on Friday, and we went, and it was really cool. We're very excited to meet people, but it was very discouraging because everyone was like, oh, if you don't have everything in the ground, it's never going to grow. It has to already be started, has to already be up. And so that's a little depressing. But we bought some starts from some of the people there, some tomato starts specifically, because they were selling them and because we hadn't gotten our tomatoes in the ground yet. We're still going to try and plant tomatoes in the ground. And if we have to, we'll harvest green tomatoes in the fall. And that's okay. Green tomatoes are good. And sometimes you can still get them to ripen up over winter. So let's do what we can. But we did buy some starts, and hopefully that gives us a little bit of a start on our season. And we're trying to get those in the ground today. And also my sweet potatoes came. So sweet potatoes will go down down over here somewhere. There's a potato bed. You can't see it with all the grass. But same thing. The tractor, we had dig all the rows of that. And we'll plant the sweet potatoes down with the regular potatoes. And see what grows.
Today our goal is to cut down this ponderosa pine. It's mostly dead. It has the top part's fallen out, probably the top 70% of it's fallen out, and we cut that up over the last few days for firewood and hopefully a few mill logs, although it's got a lot of ants in it, so they may not be good for milling. This would easily be the biggest thing we've ever cut down, even though it's short. And we've done most of our work with this sort of homeowner version chainsaw. It's a Powin Pro 42cc. But for this tree, it's not going to reach through because the bar is too short. So we're moving up to what I consider a very scary saw. This is a Husqvarna 266. I don't remember how many cubic centimeters it is, but it's scary, and it doesn't have a emergency brake on it, so I use it very sparingly. But to get through this big of a tree, we're going to have to get a little bit bigger saw. Let's see how it goes. We're gonna try to pull that one out, and then we'll pull this other one down. You ready? We've got a real problem with chickens. Chickens like the shade around the tractor, so they run underneath it a lot. And they also know that where you drive the tractor, there are often worms. So they really like being under the tractor. Same thing? That didn't move. I made a big hole in the ground, but that didn't move. I thought it would tip over because most of the limbs that are holding it up are on the middle and back, so I thought it was kind of on the brink of falling over anyway, but I guess not. I'm going to try to cut a few more limbs out of the bottom. Yeah, so when you cut the bottom of a log and it sits down on the branch you're cutting, sometimes you'll lose your chainsaw. This chainsaw is stuck in this limb, and I don't want to break my chain, so I'm going to try to cut some of this limb and relieve the pressure so I can get my saw back. My saw. Doesn't look too bad. Thought I'd have a big bend. That's all right. Ooh, it's off its bar. Look down here. See how it's off its bar? That's why I said make sure you remind me to inspect the chain before we start it up again. Yeah, that'd be a mess. Looks like we're taking the bar off. Chinese tractors do not have much space for American boots. It's hard to get your feet in here and get everything managed and get in and out of here without kicking this key and breaking it off, which is a real problem because it's in there. It just so happens that today we went to Ace Hardware with the key to make a copy, but they don't have the blank. So this is our only key to this tractor. Doesn't really matter because the other half of the key is stuck in the ignition. So we're gonna have to figure that out. But for now, I think we're gonna try to start it using this hatchet. What do you think, Gabe?
Let's go.
Is it gonna work? Is the clutch in?
Yep.
Here we go. About a week ago, we bought this tractor, and it was a pretty good deal, but it came with some issues that we knew about. One of the issues was that one of these arms was cracked, and then the very first day, maybe second day, we cracked it worse. So Gabe and I were out in the field, and I kept telling him, push harder, push harder, push harder, and hear a little creak, and so it's pretty bad right now. So today the goal is take it to a welder and see if he can't put it back together for me and put a strong weld in there so I could use this tractor for a little bit heavier loads. That means taking off this entire front end, and it is a lot of pins and a lot of work, and it's something I've never done. So Gabe and I are gonna just hit it and see how it goes.